Welcome back to Wake Up America. So a flagrant foul, white privilege, and pushing the boundaries of WNBA's transgender athlete policies. It was a big and not good weekend for women's basketball.
Yeah, so attention was locked on Chicago Sky Dejounte Carrington's foul on Indiana Fever guard Sophie Cunningham, where she smacked, you could see it right there, Cunningham across the face during a layup attempt, resulting in a flagrant 2 and Carrington's ejection from the game. Carrington then went to the locker room. While in the locker room, she posted that online. White privilege. All right. For more, let's welcome in co-founder of the Independent Council on Women's Sports and former World Cup medalist for swimming, Marcy Smith, along with legislative strategist for Concerned Women for America, Hannah Lape. Great to have you both with us this morning. Marcy, we know this all comes after Sophie Cunningham spoke out against transgender athletes in women's sports. So what is really going on here?
So what Sophie Cunningham actually did was simply say that women and girls should be protected in their sports,
right,
and men should not be allowed to compete against them. It's pretty common sense. And what we're seeing by some, a small number, is retaliation and backlash for saying that really common sense statement. And, it seems that she could be targeted by other athletes in the league, even on the court. The level of aggression that play invoked in the player, and then the response, it was completely out of line and was absolutely the right call. But there is a risk in standing up for truth and in standing up for little girls to be protected in their sports right now. And Sophie Cunningham has stepped forward, and we're seeing some against that, but overwhelmingly the response by the public has been enormous support.
Yeah,
and this foul even got the attention of the Florida Attorney General, who posted on X, the WNBA knows better than to play games down here in Florida because I'll be charging people with assault. Now, we've all seen hard hits, dirty plays throughout the history, really, of sports, but the WNBA doesn't really seem to be protecting players like Cunningham. Hannah, is that a concern for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Sophia has really stood up for little girls across the country who are watching the WNBA. And honestly, if her coaches and her teammates aren't able to stand up for little girls too, we need to seriously reevaluate why there are women in charge of the WNBA who don't know what the W stands for.
Yeah, great point. I want to turn now to another wave of drama headed for the WNBA. 2 former NBA players are now looking to declare for the 2027 WNBA draft. Enes Kanter Freedom, Royce White, because the WNBA won't make a definitive statement about biological men playing in the association. So, Marcy, do we need to see some bizarre moves like this to get people to see and practice common sense?
Unfortunately, this is where we are now in the women's sports world. At Icons, we have spent the past 5 years consulting with governing bodies at every level of sport, whether it's middle school, high school, all the way to elite international competition. And we ask each sport 2 questions. Is the women's sport category for exclusively female athletes?
Yep.
And is that policy enforceable? And what these 2 ex-NBA players are exposing, along with all of the women showing up for Sophie at rallies and Sophie herself in her statement, is that no, actually the WNBA cannot say yes to either of those questions. And therefore now they're confronted with a lot of public pressure to answer those questions and decide whether they're going to align with women and support the women's only category.
Yeah, real quickly, Hannah, the WNBA says it's going to have a meeting to work on its gender diversity position. Does it take a meeting?
You know, it's funny that these 2 former NBA players are, declaring themselves for the WNBA draft, but they are very seriously exposing how ineffective the WNBA's eligibility standards are right now.
Right.
Their self-identification policy is about as good as locking a door with a toothpick. It feels like our Daily Wire Lady Ballers and Matt Walsh's What is a Woman prophecy is really coming true, but we are at a place where we have to sit back and say women are exclusively female, and we need enforceable policies such as a one-time cheek swab to determine that women's sports are for women only, and that starts at the top with the WNBA, and we're still waiting on the NCAA to do that too. So this is something that us policymakers are really waiting for every single women's sports league to do.
Good point. Yeah, Hannah, Marshy, great conversation this morning. Thank you both so much.
Thank you.